Hello, I'm One Artist and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to see if art supplies can be both cheap and good. Here are the art supplies, which are from deco-time, both of them, I feel like. Here are some markers, which I actually needed, as well as some blue, so I bought them individually, and fine liners. So now let's try them out. Here I'm trying the fine liners. They're quite thicker than what I expected. Maybe this is not a problem to you, but I do draw quite small, so it was a little bit of a challenge for me to use them. They are quite vibrant colors as well, so I might use them actually for writing rather than for drawing. And here we have the markers. They are quite good. They have a brush nib and a bullet nib. The brush nib is kind of like smaller than your usual brush nib, but it still works pretty well. And here you can see the colors don't really match. But then I remember that I am using a really specific paper that is kind of off-white, so I used it on regular printer paper and they match perfectly. So do have that in mind when you are using new markers. If they don't look quite right, it might be the paper. So then I had to do the drawing on a pure white canvas, and I used some cardboard that I had laying around because it will be thick enough to kind of take on the alcohol markers. And here I'm using pencils just to line everything up and see what I'm doing, because you could barely see it when I did it my usual way. And now here you can see me in real time coloring. But it's quite slow, so let's speed it up. The alcohol markers, the only problem that I kind of had with them is your usual problem with alcohol markers, which is that they may be quite streaky. And for this piece I used mainly the ones on the back, but I also used a darker green from my touch markers, a pink and a skin tone from Copics, and I also used brown as well from my touch markers for the hair and the pins. You're going to see that later, but other than that, everything is made with the markers from this pack. Here you can see is where I started using the brown, just because this pack didn't come with a dark enough brown. And here the dark green. Here are the ones for the skin tone, just making sure that it looks good to me, even though later you will see that something really bad happened. I'm here just filling in, making it interesting, making the main colors and all of that stuff. And here you can see that everything is going quite alright, but then I used the fine liners. And could you guess what happened? After that incident, I will tell you to be careful with fine liners. But other than that little problem, everything was fine. I just put on some black, I covered it with some gel pen to make it less noticeable, but you can see that it is quite noticeable. And then I used my Muppet pencils, which are also quite cheap. They are two-ended, to just unify it, because I had quite some problems with the markers being streaky. And now I'm putting the drawing on the cover of my sketchbook, like that, rounding up the corners and putting on the date. And this was it for the drawing. This is how it turned out, other than the problem with the black it turned out quite well. So now let's see the costs. These are the costs. This set of 12 markers is 1.39 euros, then the additional blue colors are 99 cents and the fine liners are 1.99, bringing our total cost to 4.37 euros. Quite cheap, quite good. But then let's not also forget that there's Muppets double color pencils, which have the highest cost being 6.65, which brings the total cost of the materials to 11.02 Overall, euros. They were quite good, not as professional, but they are decent for starting out with drawing.